You mustn't upstage the bride. Ian McKellen. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 intriguing facts about mail order brides. 25. Mail order brides have a very long history, going back to the early days of the 19th century when it became a popular phenomenon on the American frontier. Back then, the frontier was a very dangerous, but also lucrative place. Many men found their fortune there, but they soon realized that few women lived on the frontier. 24. In the 19th century, many women wanted to escape their present way of living, gain financial security, and see what life on the frontier could offer them. Most of these women were single, but some were widows, divorcees, or runaways. 23. As the US started expanding west in the 19th century, men began writing to women living back east and started courting them via mail. Photographs and correspondence were exchanged until the woman agreed to marry a man she had never met. This gained popularity, giving rise to the mail order bride industry as we know it. 22. In the 20th century, the trend was towards women living in developing countries seeking men in more developed nations. 21. While mail order services in the 20th century were exclusively associated with women, this is not the case anymore. Many mail order services offer both wives and husbands, and many women look to these to find a ready-made husband to marry and settle down with. 20. The mail order bride industry is not always an innocent field, both for bride and for buyer. There have been cases where a bride has been abused or even murdered by her husband. In other cases, it can be just as dangerous for the husband. 19. In September 2003, 26-year-old Ukrainian engineer and mail-order bride Alla Barney bled to death in her car after her American husband Lester Barney, 58, slashed her throat in front of their 4-year-old son Daniel. 18. However, many mail-order marriages enjoy great success. This is attributed to a high amount of correspondence and ensuring that the partners are well matched. At times, the correspondence can take years. As a result, mail-order marriages enjoy a very low divorce rate. 17. U.S. immigration law provides protection for brides once they arrive. In 1996, Congress passed the Illegal Immigration Reform and Responsibility Act. Section 652 of this legislation specifically addresses the mail-order bride industry. 16. Mail-order services, especially those found online, are not selling brides. On the contrary, the brides themselves voluntarily post their pictures, likes, dislikes, and which country they're interested in finding a husband from. 15. In the early 20th century, the institution of picture brides developed due to immigration restrictions. The Japanese-American Passport Agreement of 1907 allowed Japan to grant passports to the wives of immigrants to America. 14. In 1994, a movie called Picture Bride was made by Hawaii-born director Kaio Hata. The film tells the story of Ryo, a Japanese woman whose photograph exchange with a plantation worker leads her to Hawaii. 13. The majority of the women listed in the 20th century and 21st century services are from Southeast Asia, countries of the former Soviet Union, and, to a lesser extent, Latin America. 12. Recently, couples have been on a program called 90 Day Fiance that documents the struggles they have thanks to their differing cultures. Some families don't understand why a person would go overseas to find a spouse. Some speculate a green card for permanent residence in the US is the motivation. 11. On January 6, 2006, President George W. Bush signed the International Marriage Broker Regulation Act of 2005 as a part of H.R. 3402, the Violence Act Against Women and Department of Justice Reauthorization Act of 2005. The requirements of the law are controversial, and some commentators have claimed that it presumes that American men are abusers. 10. There have been several murders of mail-order brides in South Korea. On May 24, 2011, one South Korean man stabbed his Vietnamese wife to death while the couple's 19-day-old baby lay next to her. 9. Women in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and other Eastern European countries are common white mail-order bride candidates.
8.
There are two types of international marriage agencies. The first sells female clients contact information and encourages men and women to approach prior to meeting. The second offers group tours, with the interested men traveling to foreign lands to meet several women at parties and events organized by the agency.
7.
The Philippines is famous for mail-order brides. Poverty and the lack of employment there has forced millions to find work abroad and some to seek marriage to foreigners, most with hopes of a better life and being able to support their families back home.
6.
Alec Baldwin found himself the target of criticism in the Philippines when he quipped on The Late Show with David Letterman about getting a Filipina mail-order bride in order to have more kids. His comments sparked outrage, with one Filipino senator threatening to beat him up if he sets foot in the country.
5.
Many single men in rural Japan have chosen wives from picture catalogs of poor women in the Philippines, Thailand, Korea, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, China, and even Brazil and Peru. The man usually travels to the woman's home country, where he finds there's a language gap between them.
4.
Filipinos are the fourth largest ethnic group in Japan, after Koreans, Chinese, and Brazilians. Of the 105,308 Filipinos in Japan in 2000, about 90,000 were women, and half were married to Japanese men.
3.
There are currently about 100 companies competing for mail-order bride customers, including Cherry Blossoms, Asian Rose, and Exotic Girls. The service fee ranges from $150 to upwards of $2,500.
2.
The mail-order bride industry is very profitable in certain developing countries, but it's literally flourishing in Eastern Europe. To get an idea, a company called Anastasia International, which is no perverse basement operation, had a projected revenue of $140 million last year.
1.
Mail-order brides, understanding the Philippines and Southeast Asian context, a course offered by Johns Hopkins University, gives a detailed understanding of Filipino kinship and gender. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these two videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.